Welcome to the Real Estate Rundown. I'm so thankful for everybody being here. We have the honor of some great speakers, and we have Daniel Brockman from Brockman Insurance. We have Susan Sherman from the Solutions Group Mortgage. We have James and Jessica from Florida Rent, and Christine from PuroClean. And then I, of course, from Keller Williams Advantage Realty. So, we say hi, everyone. Thank you all for coming. Whether you're currently own a home or looking to buy, thinking of selling, or even considering investing, real estate impacts all of us. Our homes are not only where we live life, but for most people, it's the largest financial investment they ever make. So my goal today is to give you some practical insight from all of us so that you can use it no matter what stage you're in. So first, come on over, Daniel, and we'll hear from him.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Daniel Brockman with Brockman Insurance Group. Talk a little bit today about home insurance, just some basics and some tips on being a good consumer that everybody should be aware of. Our agency, we are a personal lines insurance agency. It's a family-run business. We've been in here in Altamont Springs for 20 years. My dad started the agency then, and I joined a few years ago to carry on the legacy. We have an extensive carrier network of over 30 carriers that we quote to give you the broad view of the market. And we are dedicated to guiding first-time home buyers, especially through the insurance process and making sure you understand what your insurance does and that you have the best product for your needs. And also, it's always free to have a consultation for us to review any of your lines and let you know that you're in a good spot, or maybe we could shop and find something better for you. But let's get into some information here. And just the basics of what your policy covers. So every deck page is going to have your coverages listed here. Coverage A is your dwelling coverage. This is the estimated cost to replace your house as it is if you were ever to experience a total loss. This number is not the market value, so you'll see a discrepancy there. Coverage B is other structures, which is sheds, fences, detached garages, things of that nature are covered separately. So if you have one of those, you want to make sure that you have that adequate coverage. Coverage C is your personal property. That's if you took your house, turned it upside down and shook it, everything that would fall to the other side, that's your personal property. By default on an insurance policy, these personal property coverage is set at 50% of your dwelling amount. That's the default that insurance agents work off of. So you need to communicate with your agent if this is adequate or maybe too much coverage. If you're a first-time home buyer just moving in, you might not need that much coverage as you're getting started. Also, if you have high-value items that you care about, that you want to guarantee are protected, you need to talk to your agent as well, because jewelry, firearms, electronics, all of these things have limits on a policy, usually around $1,500 to $2,500, which you may find does not go very far if you have some high-value stuff. So talk to your agent, and they can definitely get you taken care of on those situations. Coverage D is loss of use. We get asked about this one a lot, but basically, if you are put out of your house because it needs to be repaired, say you had a kitchen fire and smoke throughout the house, this pays for you to be put up in a hotel or an Airbnb. It pays for restaurants, takeout, everything to keep your life going so you're not coming out of pocket in those expenses. And then one of the more other important coverages that people don't think about too often is the personal liability coverage. If somebody goes to get hurt on your property and sue you, your home insurance carrier will defend you in court. And if they were to win a judgment against you, they will pay out up to whatever this coverage limit is in that situation. This coverage also follows you worldwide. So if you're at Walmart and something crazy happens and you get sued, you can come to your home insurance and they will be there to help and protect you. So we'll talk about hurricane coverage and deductibles. This is going to be your out-of-pocket expense if you were to use your home insurance. Hurricane deductibles are separate from everything else. And standard, they're typically 2% of your dwelling coverage. So if you have $400,000 in your dwelling coverage, your hurricane deductible is going to be about $8,000. So you want to prepare for that, as we do live in Florida and hurricanes are an annual occurrence, especially if you're a first-time home buyer, and just to be aware of that would be your out-of-pocket expense. The good news is that's a one-time per calendar year deductible. So if you get hit on the first storm and have damage, and then get hit on a subsequent hurricane, you only have to pay that once per calendar year. The all other perils deductible is for everything else that's not a hurricane. It's typically $1,000 to $2,500, and these limits are optional, so you can decide which one you want. What we've seen lately is a lot of agencies are starting to just send out the $2,500 deductible without any discussion of the $1,000 deductible. And what we see is that there can only be sometimes a $30 to $50 difference between $1,000 and $2,500. So you're risking an extra $1,500 out-of-pocket expense for a rather minimal savings. So things that you want to make sure your agent is communicating with you or that you are asking them about. Flood insurance. Another common thing here in Florida, it is not part of a standard home insurance policy. So you have to get a separate flood insurance policy to cover this type of damage and risk. If you are not in a flood zone, you're not going to be required to have one. Your lender's not going to make you get it, your carrier's not going to make you get it, and they're entirely optional. And if you want to get one, you can get it at any time. You don't have to do it at closing. If you want to get settled in 3 months later, come revisit that, you can do that. That's perfectly fine. The coverages are also flexible. On your home insurance policy, your dwelling coverage must be the replacement cost value of your home. On a flood policy, the odds you're going to have a total loss, especially if you're not in a flood zone, pretty small. So you could just carry, for instance, $100,000 in flood coverage where you may have $350,000 on your home insurance policy. So if you get a couple of inches in the living room, more than enough to take care of that, get you back whole, and move on with your life. But it's important to know there's a waiting period for all flood policies for that coverage to go into effect. Standard is 30 days. We have some options that are as low as 9 days. But don't think you can wait till something's on the horizon to come get one of these policies. So some key factors that will affect your home insurance premium that you definitely want to be aware of. Probably the most obvious is the age of the home. Newer homes, typically 10 years or newer, often qualify for much lower premiums than older properties. It's pretty straightforward. The newer the home, the less likely something is to happen, cause damage, and cause a claim. Same goes for the roof. 10 years or newer is ideal because it's going to give you more options to pick from when it comes to carriers. But if you have at least 5 years useful life as determined by an inspection, you can still get coverage. But if you're looking at a home and the report says it's got 3 years useful life left on it, you cannot get a policy with that. Nobody will write one without 5 years today. It's unfortunate. The carriers will not even do you the favor of saying if you get it in 30 days, that's fine. They won't play games with and be flexible like they have been in the past. Another one that we see has caught a lot of people off guard is the age of the water heater. All of the private carriers now have a rule that says they got to be 15 years or newer. So if you buy a house as a 20-year-old water heater, it works perfectly fine. You've got to get that replaced in order to get the insurance policy. The good news with the water heater is they will give you 30 days to replace that after you buy the coverage, so it's not a deal breaker, but they will send you a cancellation notice once they do their own review and find out it's old. Polybutylene piping, we don't see it a ton anymore, but it was very popular at one point in time. But if it is even just in one bathroom, it's a hard stop for every carrier in the industry. Even Citizens won't touch polybutylene piping, so that needs to be replaced before you can get a policy. There are some secondary carriers that will absolutely write it, and those premiums are going to be 2-3 times more expensive than if you got that piping replaced. It almost always financially makes sense to do a repiping. You'll save the money in the long run. And then construction type considerations. Block house versus frame house. When I toggle those back and forth on a property, the premium can change between $300 and $700. They like a block house because it's less likely to have a total loss. Pretty straightforward, but something to consider if you may be between two properties you're trying to choose between. They also much rather prefer concrete slab foundation rather than crawl spaces. Now, we only generally see crawl spaces on much older homes, so you kind of know what you're getting into if that's what you're looking at, but something to be aware of, crawl spaces will absolutely limit your options for insurance coverage. So how to be a smart consumer? Shop around for insurance. Agents like myself have access to over 20 plus carriers that we can shop and give you a broad view of the market, but no agent can give you the rate from everybody that's available. Big carriers like State Farm, Liberty Mutual, folks you may see commercials for, they do everything in-house. So you have to go to them one by one if you want to compare all of those rates. But if you're really diligent about it, it's something you should consider doing. And then you should also consider shopping your policy on an annual basis. Every renewal. Don't just take it, think it's acceptable, throw it in the drawer. Make sure your agent's shopping that every time it comes around. That's something we do as a courtesy on every renewal, but not every agency is the same. So you want to make sure you're getting those numbers reran every year. And then home maintenance. Take care of your property. Insurance does not cover wear and tear. If you let things deteriorate and then those cause other forms of damage, your insurance carrier is most likely not going to cover that claim. You're going to find yourself arguing with the adjuster, and more often than not, you're going to lose those circumstances. So if you see something that's needs getting worn out, needs replacing, get it done, get it replaced. Another really beneficial thing you can do is get a water leak detection system for your home. These range significantly in price because there's different tiers to them, but they're little sensors you can put under your sinks and toilets, washer machines and such to detect if water's leaking. Water damage is the most common claim in the state of Florida, and it is one carriers hold against you the most. It is the easiest way to get non-renewed, and it is the easiest way to become ineligible for coverage. We have carriers who say if you've had one water damage claim in your life, they won't touch you. Others, 3 years, 2 within 3 years, they all have rules, but water damage claims, you want to avoid them if you can, and these systems make that very, very much doable. And then document your home annually. Take a video of the exterior and interior of your home so that you have a record of your belongings and everything that you have, so that if you ever had a catastrophic situation, you're not arguing with the insurance company about what you need to get paid back on personal property to make yourself whole. You have a video record that you can fall back on and show them, and that's going to make your experience much easier and straightforward if you ever had to deal with it. And then, why should you call your agent first? We always recommend if anything is going on that's not an emergency, call your agent to talk about it before you call the carrier to talk about it. If you call the carrier directly and ask them, hey, this is happening, is this covered? I'm just curious. They have to document that in their system as a potential claim, which then gets uploaded to the database that all the carriers pull history reports from. That follows you for 5 years, whether you followed through with the claim or not. But if you would have just simply called your agent, they'd have been able to give you a straightforward answer, you'd have been able to act accordingly and carry on, and you'd have the best outcome. It does impact your eligibility in the market to have claims even if they don't get paid. So all carriers have different rules, but generally speaking, you have 3 claims within 3 years or 5 years, it significantly limits your options out there. So your agents will offer you guidance to help you avoid these unnecessary claims, work to optimize the outcomes for the short term and the long term. Is that repair for that vanity $1,200? Your deductible's $1,000? Is $200 worth the water claim on your record? It's a decision you get to make for yourself. It's your insurance policy to use, but at least we can give you the context of how that can affect you in the long run so you can make the best, most informed decision. That's what we're here to do, is help protect your claims history, keep you insurable so that you have the best premiums available to you while you're doing those annual shoppings. Thank you guys so much for your time. Appreciate it. Again, my name is Daniel with Brockman Insurance Group. Here's my contact information. We'll be happy to hear from you.
Hi, my name is Susan Sherman, and I am with Solutions Group Mortgage. I am a mortgage loan officer. I am second generation in the real estate industry and been doing this a little over 24 years. The mortgage broker, what I do is I partner with a lot of different lenders to help you find the best product and the best rate for the home that you are purchasing. A lot of things I do hear about is when first-time home buyers or buyers are thinking of is that you have to put 20% down, you have to have perfect credit, and you must be debt-free. All those are missed. So today I just want to kind of go over a checklist to help you prepare for when you start looking for a new home. Number 1 is to get with a mortgage loan officer. You want to get with them so they can go over your loan application. They're going to review your credit report. They're going to review your assets and your income. And this will help you determine what you can be approved for. Now, there's many products out there where you do not have to put 20% down. You can put as little as 3.5% down. But that'll be the discussion you have with your loan officer to help you determine which product is best for you. On the second myth, you do not have to have perfect credit. A lot of first-time home buyers think you have to have a credit score of 700 or higher. The truth is, I can help clients with as low as 580 on their credit score. But that's, again, a conversation you have with your lender to help decide which is the best product for you so that you're able to purchase the home that you want to purchase now. You do not have to be debt-free. we do calculate some of your debt into your debt to income ratio. And again, that's a conversation to have. But there are different ways for you to be able to purchase your new home. The first step is always to talk with the loan officer to get the big picture of what you can afford, what your monthly payment would be, and what you're going to be looking for your cash to close when you come to the table. After you speak with your mortgage broker, then you're going to be setting a budget for yourself so you know exactly what that purchase price is that you're looking for. Because you don't want to be, as some people say, house poor. So you want to make sure that you feel comfortable with your monthly payment for your future. After that, I would suggest to go through your needs and wants. A lot of times you can't get everything you want in one home, especially if it's your first home. But you definitely want to make sure you are getting the number one things that you want. How many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, and then you'll decide on your list going forward. After that, you 100% want to meet with a real estate agent so you can sit down with them to let them know what you've been approved for and what your needs and wants are. And two people that are the best to meet with is Deborah and Chuck Morris. They have been in the industry for many years and we work very well together. After that, they will go and they will show you properties. And when you find your dream home, that's when you come back to me and then I help you go from under contract to the end. And I walk you through that process to make sure that you are make the process as smooth as possible so we help you find your dream home. If you have any questions, please feel free to call me. My number is 404-512-1712 and I look forward to speaking with you.
Hi there, I am Jessica Speak with Florida Rent. We do professional property management, residential. Here in Castleberry is our office, but we service all of Central Florida. My parents started the company in 1991, Jeff and Carol Hall, and I am now the broker owner of the company, and we've enjoyed 34 years of building community and relationships through our clients and through wonderful relationships that we have with people like Deborah and the like. So what I wanted to do is start by talking about, at some point you may be in a situation where you would like to diversify your portfolio and purchase an investment property. Or you may inherit an investment property or a property from someone who may have passed in your family. So you are in a situation now where you can diversify your portfolio. There's many, many benefits to having an investment property. You have tax deductions. You can deduct all of your expenses, including your mortgage interest. And then you're also going to build some generational wealth that you can then pass on to your heirs. Oftentimes, though, when we talk to people who are still sort of on the fence as to whether or not they want to take the plunge and purchase an investment property, they express that they're a little bit overwhelmed by all of the stresses that can come along with it. Because it's a little bit different than maybe investing in stocks or bonds or something that you kind of put away and you can watch from afar. An investment property takes a lot of hands-on work, and you have to have relationships with your tenants. You have to make sure that everything is maintained well. But in the end, you will find that if you play the long game with your investment property, you're going to, it only appreciates, as we see over time with all real estate. And not only that, it's income producing. So you collect the rent every month, your tenant is paying your mortgage, and hopefully you're getting a little bit more than that. And eventually, once you pay off that mortgage, then that rental income just comes every month. So when we're talking about some of the stresses that come along with dealing with a rental property, that's where someone like a property manager comes in. So the nice thing too about property management services is that they are also tax deductible. And you'll also find that when you hire a property manager, we have a lot of connections within the community. We have good relationships with our vendors, so we end up saving you money in the long run. So a little bit more about our company. As I said, we've been in business over 30 years. We offer full service residential management services. We handle long-term rentals, so we do not do short-term. As an investor, you may decide that you want to go VRBO or Airbnb or vacation rentals, something like that, which also has its benefits. What we specialize is your long-term rental, so that's 6 months or more. So, like many things, property management is about relationships. So it's always been our top priority, and my father's vision and the way that he ran the business from the beginning is to always have those relationships. So you have open communication, clarity. My dad was very frank about things, and people trusted him. And he's instilled that in all of us. So that is our main goal when we do this. It's all about relationships and making sure that our owners are getting all of their needs met to the point that we can, and same with our residents. So we can do what is called full management services. So if you are an investor and you say, you know what, I live in, Canada, France, Georgia, or Polk County, and you don't want to have to deal with your rental, we do everything from the beginning to the end. So we will handle all of the maintenance. We will place a tenant. We will do all the background checks on your potential tenants. We will manage that relationship. You may say, you know what, I kind of want to do all this on my own, but I really need some help making sure that I place the proper tenants into my investment property. So that's what we call a lease only, and we also offer that service. So James, do you want to talk us through some of the other services that we provide?
Sure. Thank you, Jessica. James Ebanks, Business Development Manager for the team. I'm going to be elaborating a little bit more on our services. Give me a second to put the mic on. The one looking like a Christmas tree, right? Okay, so in piggybacking what Jessica was talking about in regards to our full service property management, this is what our monthly management services look like. Obviously, we will collect the rent on behalf of the owner, and it's distributed between the 8th and 10th of every month. We do financial reporting on an annual basis, where we provide the profit and loss reports to our owners, and we also issue a 1099 for your annual tax returns as well. Maintenance coordination, 24/7 response. It's all automated. We receive the work order from our residents, and it's distributed to our vendors, and they contact them, and it gets scheduled as soon as possible. Interior, exterior inspections, that's done on a periodic or annual basis. Tenant placement and screening, obviously we have a resident select criteria that we internally adhere to when we screen our tenants. And obviously online owner portals, so we're making it convenient through technology for all of our owners and our residents to have access to our system electronically. Our one-time rental service, this is what we refer to as our lease-only service. Perfect for self-managing landlords, which includes the marketing and showing of the property, again, tenant screening, the lease execution, which at the end, once we place the tenant, that lease is then passed on to the new landlord. Deposit collection, that is also passed on to the new landlord, and obviously move-in inspections for their records. Property types that we manage. Single-family homes is the majority of the properties we manage in our portfolio. We do have condos and duplexes, and we're expanding into the multifamily space as well. Utilizing technologies to streamline our day-to-day services by incorporating technology, which again we spoke about, online maintenance requests, which is done automatically through our portal, our system. Automatic, we have a call service center that handles all of our emergency calls and relating to our repairs, and owner-tenant portals, which are all electronic as well, and real-time reporting. Give me 1 second, sorry. The importance of preventive maintenance, as it states, the return on your investment when it comes to preventive maintenance. That is key. That can make or break you as a landlord or as a real estate investor. We stress the importance behind that when it comes to reducing repair costs, keeping your tenants happy by boosting satisfaction and renewing their lease for the long term, staying compliant as it relates to the local business code and legal services or legal standards, and preserving wealth, preserving the value. That's one of the main reasons why you, as a real estate investor or a landlord, get into real estate, is to purchase the properties, which therefore will help you grow your net worth by retaining the value in the long term, asset value. And tenant retention, very important. All right, well, let me pass it on to Jessica so she can wrap it up by talking a little bit more about our company.
So, first of all, thank you very much for your time. This has been a wonderful event. It's so great to collaborate with professionals in our field. We love what we do. If you have any questions about if you're not ready to buy an investment property, or if you're just curious about how it could benefit you, give us a call. Okay, we want to help. We want to help you feel good about it because we believe in it very much. Both of us actually own our own investment properties too because we believe in this so much. And just as a side, I've always said that if I ever moved or changed fields or whatever, I would have hire a property manager. That's how much I believe in this. So again, Florida Rent Inc., give us a call, 407-339-5797. Thank you very much.
My name is Christine Cirnigliaro. I represent PuroClean as a mitigation restoration company, as well as One Tom Plumber. We are your nonstop, one-stop, 24-hour emergency, 7 days a week company. We will not only handle your mitigation solutions for properties regarding commercial as well as homeowners. We deal directly with insurance companies. We have the knowledge to deal with insurance companies, multifaceted insurance companies on the residential as well as the commercial side to help mitigate your solutions for fire, water, mold, as well as we have One Tom Plumber. Now, One Tom Plumber is a new entity for all of us, but not new in the sense of what our knowledge can bring to the value of mitigating your losses. Broken pipe, not only do you have a broken pipe, we understand the value of fixing that pipe. We understand the value of mitigating that loss behind a broken pipe. We understand the value of dealing with the insurance company behind the broken pipe. Let's take some questions. All right. How about that? So your question to me as a commercial property manager in a position, you would like to know with the relining of the piping.
Yes.
So what we would do is we would come in with a camera and we would do an inspection based off the camera and make a determination of height, elevation, length, and distance. And that would make a determination of what is clogged, what needs to be relined, and what is the point of access, and ultimately giving you the best value for your buck to fix those pipes without tearing up the entire floor, tearing up the entire base, going up through the stacks. I believe, and I see you smiling, so I know that I answered your question.
Yes, thank you.
When there's a large disaster in a home and we call PuroClean, you help us with the insurance process. Can you talk a little bit about that?
So with a large disaster in a home, when you call PuroClean, we will help facilitate working with your adjusters and working with you because ultimately we are the representative of you. So that is going to be with fire, water, mold, as well as flood. As long as you have flood damage, we can assist with your insurance company. If you do not have flood coverage, we can ultimately end up assisting with you outside of the flood coverage to help maximize and minimize the damage that you ultimately succumb to. I believe that answered your question. You're smiling.
Yes.
So with that being said, we are a one-stop, non-stop mitigation plumbing company, and you can reach us many different ways. For the One Tom Plumber, the number is 407-819-2276, as well as the same number can be reached on the PuroClean site for Christine Cirnigliaro. Thank you very much.
Hey everybody, Deborah Morris, Keller Williams, Advantage Realty. Wasn't that great? I really appreciate each and every one of you for giving the tips and wisdom and just piquing the curiosity up that all of us do have. So definitely reach out to them if you have any questions. Now we get to talk about real estate. So here I do have the dependable information that we get from the Orlando Regional Realtor Association that shares month over month and year over year. So any of that detail, you can end up reaching out to me and I can share all that information with you later. So I'm going to spend the rest of this session here talking about first the market snapshot over why it benefits those of you that are homeowners, not necessarily buying and selling yet. But then we're going to also a couple tips for sellers, a couple tips for buyers, investors, and then we'll let you all go for the day. So first of all, market snapshot. Home prices, as you can see here, home prices are pretty much the same month over month and year over year. What does that mean for you? That means that it's not going down. How many of you all have heard that there is going to be a recession? Well, if there was going to be a recession, it would have happened by now. We have over 13,000 pieces of inventory right now. The average market has 10,000 pieces of inventory and properties. So we have high inventory, but we have same median price month over month or year over year. So what does that mean for you all? That means that it's still okay to buy and sell and invest in real estate right now. Okay, so interest rates, yes, we hear about the government doing some kind of a price drop. Well, you know, the lenders right now are already slowly reducing those interest rates. So they're not going to be all of a sudden next month, all of a sudden this major drop. At least that's what the lenders have shared with me. So if you need to work out numbers, definitely right now you need to be talking to a lender. Inventory, I've already touched on that. We do have high inventory. What does that mean for you? It means that you do have a lot of choices out there right now. So again, reach out to your dependable realtors, hopefully checking myself, and then that way we can end up sharing with you what your top criteria is and then look at that inventory and then we can look there. Homeowners, are you a homeowner? Not going to be buying and selling and investing anytime soon, but you just want to stay where you are right now. Well, what can you do? Maintenance, because, well, let's put it this way, back up. Being a real estate homeowner is probably the best way to build equity and build wealth for your family. So if you're not a homeowner, you definitely, I highly recommend get out of that rental and get into a home where you can actually make your payments and build down that mortgage. And then you also build up equity year over year, because we could show you charts over the last 40 years and how much the values have gone up. So again, what can you do as a homeowner as far as benefits? Number one, of course, as I touched on already, maintenance. Take care of your home. Don't let it go, because those small repairs will end up growing into bigger repairs, which will ultimately cost a whole lot more money to do. Think of upgrades strategically. They're not all upgrades are a good return. So yes, your kitchens and your bathrooms and your energy efficiencies, those are very important. The other stuff may not be as, it may just say, hey, yes, I want to replace it because, but will it actually end up helping you with your future goals? Talk to us and we can let you know what's going on in the market so you're not wasting your money. Know your home value, just like your financial advisor and insurance. Get an estimated home value report from us or your dependable realtor once a year. That way you are insured also for the right value home in case something happens to your home. So, okay, there's homeowners. Now we're going to reach over to sellers. Sellers, the two biggest mistakes are overpricing and underpreparing. And what do I mean about overpricing? Have you ever known somebody who goes over there and they want to end up pricing their house too high? What happens to that? What do you think the buyers end up thinking about a house that is priced high? Well, they most likely will not end up looking at the house or putting an offer on it. And then if it's sitting on the market too long, then what do you think they think of it? Well, there must be something wrong with it, right? So again, there's the overprice. As far as your condition, I love doing staging. So reach out to me and I'll give you an idea on what type of renovations, again, depending on your budget, is the best to do as a seller to get you the best return. Of course, the least expensive is put a little elbow grease in there and clean your house, okay? So again, we'll look at the market, see what type of upgrades make sense for your neighborhood and the market going on. Decluttering and staging are definitely improvements, give you the better return. There are lots of market stats from National Association of Realtors talking about staging. Now, I'm not talking about go out there and spend tons of money. I'm talking about if you can go there and have something out there that the buyer most likely will say, I can picture myself here, then you will be able to have a better chance of getting the offers that you need in the timing that you need. Pricing it right, again, you know, they talk about pricing it too high. Well, you can't ever price it too low either. What happens if you end up putting a very low price on your house? You think that it'll attract a lot of buyers? You think it'll end up attracting possibly more than one buyer that may end up wanting to outbid each other? The market will determine the price. So then timing, of course, seasonality. Even in Florida, we do have seasonality. More people are out there shopping in the summer than they are in the winter. Yet, of course, you also have people that need to buy and sell all year round, but there is seasonality even in Florida. So now we transition over to buyers and investors. Now, when is a good time to buy? That's usually the biggest question you have from buyers and investors. Well, you know, job change, marriage, death, divorce, downsizing, upsizing. Have you heard of these? Yes, that happens all year round. So there is always a good time to be able to buy. Now, we deal with a lot of what we call buy and sells. I always remind them, when you're buying and selling, you're buying and selling in the same market. So even if it's just a couple months difference, generally speaking, it's the same market. So if you're going to get a lot for your house, you're probably going to pay a little bit more for the next house. So again, reach out to us. We'll go over those numbers. So recommendation, get a pre-approval first. Susan talked about that. You need to know what you have in your budget, and so that way we can talk strategy as far as being able to get your offers accepted. And don't just look at the house, look at the neighborhood. We always say drive around in the evenings or the weekends. Make sure you feel comfortable in the neighborhood. There may be something next door that you say, oh, I didn't see that, or I thought this was a great neighborhood, but it's right next to this, or things like that. So again, definitely do that so you know what neighborhoods you like. For investors, of course, they're going to be looking at cash flow. So they already touched on that from Jessica and James. You're not only getting them, the tenants paying your mortgage, possibly more than the mortgage, so you're paying the mortgage down, but overall, your property is increasing in value year over year. So again, think of it as a long term, not necessarily I'm going to invest in 2 year for a 2-year period of time, but longer than that. So that way you're basically, it's a win-win in both situations. So to wrap it up, you know, homeowners, whether you're a homeowner protecting your equity, a seller hoping to maximize your sale, a buyer dreaming of that first place, or an investor building a long-term wealth, real estate is a powerful tool when you approach it with strategy instead of emotion. So if you like a personalized equity check, market update, I'd love to talk with you. Just reach out. We'll set up an appointment, talk about what your plans are for the future. Thank you for your time. And remember, real estate isn't just about property. It's about building a future. Thank you.